And it is 3. All right. Hey, everybody. It is 3 p.m. Sunday. So you know what that means. It is time for another episode of Book Talk Live. But I actually have something amazing for you guys. I rarely bring in guest speakers. As you all know, the only guest speaker that I brought on to Book Talk Live was the 12-year-old phenom who was published at 9, which was my son, Zayden. And so today I actually have another best-selling author. And our author today is Joseph Mitchell Esquire. He doesn't like to go by the Esquire. But as I say, hey, you earn that title, you put your blood, sweat, and tears in there. So it's time to make sure that people know who you are. So I just want to read you a little bit about Joe. Joseph Mitchell is a high-performance coach who has logged over 35 years of in-depth study of personal and spiritual development. 2 years after he graduated from Harvard Law School, check this out. Joe became a monk and lived in an ashram for 5 years. As you all know, most of us don't go into being a monk. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. In his studies over the years, he has done hundreds of self-development courses, spiritual retreats, and health-related workshops. So I know that right now mental health is a huge thing, and he talks about not just health in terms of your body, but he talks about your mental, your spiritual, physical health. And yeah, I know what you all are thinking. Is this guy the ex-president? No, he just favors him a lot and has a lot of similarities with that. But a little bit more about Joe. Last few things. Coach Joe has been certified as a yoga teacher, meditation teacher, EFT practitioner, and NLP practitioner. He is also a graduate of 3 coaching academies. And in 2016, after an over 20-year career as a criminal and personal injury attorney, and I'm going to talk to him about that. Y'all got to hear about the stuff that he's doing with what he's doing to help young people. He decided to turn his heart's passion into a career as a success coach, motivational speaker, and trainer. And let me tell you, this guy is phenomenal. His energy is amazing. And most of you may be looking and saying, who is this young man that is on here? If he wants to, I'll let him break that myth for you and actually share the details behind how he keeps himself looking so good at the young age that he is. So, Coach Joe, let's talk. How are you today?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Thank you for inviting me to the show. Really, really appreciate it. The business of book writing, I have just experienced it firsthand. I mean, I just wrote a book and just got it published. So I really can, say that it is a battle, and you really do need support. And I'm sure that you're the man to give support to the brothers and sisters who really want to get that book done.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I do a little bit, but I heard that you had an amazing coach as well behind the scenes. But before we go into it, tell me a little bit about your backstory. Tell the viewers a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, and a little bit of your life journey.
Yeah, well, in my book, I talk about this really early story. And I'll just touch on it real quickly. When I was 8 years old, my parents moved from the inner city all black neighborhood to an all white neighborhood in the suburbs. And I was the only black in my elementary school. I mean, there were hundreds of kids and I'm the only black.
Oh man, that had to be rough.
Well, basically it was in the beginning, because what happens is they come and they say, well, you're supposed to go into 3rd grade, but since you're black and you're coming from a inner city school, we think you should stay back. And you know what I said?
What'd you say?
No. Oh no, I'm not going back.
And that's what I would have told him too. So being the only black in the school, how was that experience for you? Talk us through that, because I know in recent months, in recent weeks,
Right.
that has been a very hot topic. So tell us a little bit about that experience.
Well, you know, I actually really had to find my blackness. So, you know, it's like being around all whites, you know, all Jewish kids and all this, you know, it was very, I mean, in a certain way, I got along well with everybody. I mean, I'm an easygoing guy, got along well with everybody. And even though they said you should stay back, by the time I was in 8th grade, I was in all honors classes. And by the
Talk
time
about it.
and by the time I got to college, I got into 3 colleges. I only applied to 3 colleges, and I got in Harvard, Yale, and Stanford.
Oh, come on now.
Yeah,
All Ivy League, top of the top.
top of the top, man. And so I ended up going to Stanford, which was more of this sort of all, you know, lily white. I mean, it was 10% black back in those days. Okay. But it was all, you know, it was all a country, like a country club. And
Yeah.
I said, man, I got to do something for my blackness. And I transferred from Stanford, which was one of the best college in the school, to a black college in the South, Hampton Institute.
Okay. Yeah. Hampton, HU.
HU. It's Hampton University now. It was in Hampton Institute before, and I spent a year there, where I you know, hung out with the bros. You know.
There you go. Hey, I can definitely relate, because as we talked about before, from middle school to high school, I went to the schools and was in the magnet program, and then went to the magnet program in Milby High School and the honors programs. And when I went to UT, you said it was 10% where you were, and at UT we had less than 5%, and to this day it is still less than 5% African American. If you take away the student athlete population, that number goes down dramatically. So
Wow.
I can definitely understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you overcome? You've already talked about overcoming and being the best, and going from an Ivy League school to down south. Tell us about the law degree, and then a few years after.
Well, you know, the thing that I have always, so I was raised atheist. Okay.
Yes, sir.
My parents did not believe in God at all, and I had to kind of find my own way to it. But I've always been really interested in self-development, both personal and spiritual. And so when I you know, I ended up going to Harvard Law School, and didn't really connect deeply with being a lawyer, but I really connected deeply with being a spiritual man. And I had a teacher at the time who was running what's called an ashram. Okay, this was in the Hindu tradition, and I ended up going to live with him and becoming a monk.
Okay.
Now, the crazy part about it is, this is 2 years after I got out of Harvard Law School. Okay, and there was lots of money to be made at this point. Okay, lots of money. But I said, you know what? It's more important for me to develop myself as a person, as a spiritual being. Is more important. That's more important to me than making a bunch of money.
Exactly.
And I did that, and I was a monk for 5 years.
There you go. So that reminds me of one of my favorite books, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari,
Right.
with Robert Sharma. Yeah.
Right.
So what was that experience like? Because from the sound of it, the things that you're doing now, the high development coaching, the spiritual coaching, the personal development coaching, NLP training, all that goes into your coaching, going back to being a lawyer, but also goes into what you are actually doing now in the spiritual development. So tell us more about it.
Well, you know, I believe that it's my mission to help people to be great. Okay, and I don't necessarily need them to be religious. I mean, I honor all religions.
Yes, sir.
that you were, interviewed by a spirit, a Christian spiritual organization, and that you're a good Christian, and I admire that.
Yes, sir.
I really do. I have got no, like, I got the right way to go. None of that. Okay. I am totally I'm totally in favor of anyone who wants to go closer to God. That's however they do.
Yeah.
So that's really important. But my coaching really is not spiritually oriented. My
Okay.
coaching is about success. Okay. I want to see people succeed in this world. Okay. I'm not really trying to preach any kind of spiritual stuff on you. I don't want, because I was a monk, I don't want you guys to think that I'm some evangelist or anything like that, because that's not the case. I'm here to help you be great. I'm passionate about helping people be great.
Okay.
Because greatness in every single one of us.
And talk us through it. Talk us through some of the coaching that you do, because one of the things that you mentioned and you are huge on is tapping, and most of us are still learning about it. So walk us through the tapping.
Well, just tell you something real quick before I do that. I wrote a book. It's called, I don't know if you can see it here. It's called The Art of Joyful Achieving, and tap into the life you love. Okay, so I really believe that success doesn't have to be this hard grind. It really doesn't. It can be something that's natural and something that it doesn't mean that you'll never be stressed, because stress is a part of life, but it just means that you can achieve in a way that really works for you. So the first thing in this book is I have this system that I call the Daring Success System. And the Daring Success System really has three main components. One is clarity. Okay, you got to get clear about what you want and where you're going, and you got to get really clear about it. Because most of us are just going, and we don't know where we're going, and we're just kind of wandering around. You have to get clear. And the second thing is you got to release your self-limiting beliefs. Okay, some people think, I can just go for success, but they don't realize how much is holding them back underneath the surface. It's kind of like an iceberg, you can't see under the surface, but so much is holding us back. And mainly, I go through it in three areas. Lack of confidence to achieve our big goals. I mean, I'm interested in people achieving big goals. Okay, I don't care about the little ones. Okay, I mean, I want to see you, go big. Whatever that.
Go home.
But yeah, whatever that means. Yeah. I mean, it might be me writing a New York Times bestseller, or it might be, becoming a multimillionaire. I don't know what your wow goal is. Your big goal. I call it a wow goal, but your big goal. But you got to decide what it is, and then you've got to release the self-limiting beliefs that keep you from having it. Because if you don't have self-limiting beliefs that are keeping you from having it, you already have it. Right?
Exactly.
And then the third thing is take empowered action. You got to make this real, and it's got to be done with action. And one of the best ways to get into powerful action is to get support. And in my book, I talk about different ways of support. Okay, all the way accountability buddies, masterminds, and mentors and coaches. Okay, and that's one of the things. That's one of the reasons I became a coach, is because I know how important it is to have somebody by your side helping you to get where you want to go.
I like all of that, because just what you mentioned, that vision, that clarity, taking that massive action and getting rid of those self-limiting beliefs. Man, I can't tell you how powerful that is, because so many people, and we talk about this, so many people have those limiting beliefs that come from family, that come from friends, that come from people, past relationships, past failures. But how do you break someone out of that?
Right. Well, I mean, it's a big deal for authors too. I mean, how many of you authors think I can easily write a best-selling book? My hand's going down. Okay. Because a lot of people don't believe that they can do it.
Right.
Okay, but to answer your question, I have discovered an amazing technique that is so powerful to help you rid yourself of self-limiting beliefs and also stress.
Okay.
So it's called tapping,
Talk
and
us through that.
an amazing thing. And I'm really right now in this particular kind of Black Lives Matter era, I'm really like very passionate about getting it into the Black community, because I feel like, you know, we need to have all the tools that we can to get where we're supposed to be.
Yeah, we definitely need more tools and something. So as you talk about tapping and you talked about easy, it doesn't have to be so hard. Can you go ahead and explain that one? Because I know there's a lot of people out there who are like, see, I knew I didn't have to work so hard to get to where I want to be. Can you break that down for the listeners, for the viewers?
It's, you know, it's funny looking though. I got to tell you that.
Okay.
I can't say that this is like, you're not going to be like a rapper, like a cool looking dude, you know. I mean, this is funny looking. But it's, you know, but that doesn't matter. I mean, really, it doesn't really matter. But the thing that we really have to come to grips with, you know,
Mm-hmm.
whether we tap or not, is that it's by releasing the things that are holding us back
Mm-hmm.
that we can get where
Okay.
we okay. And if we don't release those things, we're not going to get where we go very fast, if we get there at all.
Yeah.
So the thing that's great about tapping helps you release these these emotions and these bodily sensations very organically. Okay.
Okay.
It's based on the Chinese acupressure system. You know, if you've heard of acupuncture, where they put all kinds of needles in you and all that kind of
Yeah.
thing. Right. I mean, that's yuck. I mean, but it works. I mean, it's very powerful. I mean, if you have like chronic back pain or something, and you go to an acupuncturist and they put those needles in, your pain can disappear.
Oh yeah. I've had several friends that have been through acupuncture, and they say initially the reaction is, oh my God, this is about to be painful, and then as they start going through it, it's like I feel so much release that comes from it. So
Right.
yeah, I'm definitely a fan of it.
And that's what we're talking about with tapping. Okay.
Okay.
The great thing, one of the greatest things about tapping is you don't have to be positive. You know, we all think that, you know, you should be more positive, you know, especially, I mean, if something bad happens, it's hard to be positive.
Yeah.
Okay. But I want to just give you a couple of examples of what tapping can do. Okay. So what, you know, we're thinking about authorship. You know, there have been many times when I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, oh my God, I don't know what I don't know what to write. If I sit down here, it's not going to work out. I'm not going to just come up with, it's not going to just flow out of me.
Yeah.
And I'm having all of these doubts about myself. And I'll start tapping.
Okay.
And I'll tap for less than 5 minutes. And then, you know, I sit down to my thing and the words are just flowing. It just feels like, wow, I've really got this together. And that's like 5 minutes to going from like, I don't know, I can't do this, to I can do this in 5 minutes. Really.
Wow.
You know. Secondly, you know, let's just say that, you know, I don't necessarily want to make calls to potential clients. You know, I've been a lawyer for 35 years, and in 35 years, people will call me. Oh, I
Wait,
need
wait,
help me
wait.
get out of jail or whatever, you know, help me to get some money from the insurance company. Okay.
So wait a minute. I gotta stop you right there.
Yeah.
Because you say you have been a lawyer for 35 years,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You don't look like you could be more than maybe 45, 50. So give us the secret, man. Can you share with?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I'll tell everybody I'm going to be 65 this year. And that's, you know, and a lot of it is, you know, really healthy eating. I really eat healthy and I exercise.
Uh-huh.
I'm not like a super exerciser, but I take really good care and I meditate. So, you put those, you combine, taking care of the body in really good ways and taking care of the mind and the spirit in really good ways. And then you add in black don't crack.
There you go.
And there you go.
All right. Well, listen, I know that one of the things that I love to do is make sure that you've already reached the best-selling status as an author, and there is still time for people to grab your book, because you go into more detail about tapping and about living your best life and really going after those big dreams for people. So how can they find you, and how can they get a copy of your book? Because that's what we want. I want to make sure that people are supporting, because I see it all the time. Support Black businesses, support entrepreneurs. How can we support you?
Yeah. Well, I think there's a very, very easy way. There are two ways. One, you can go to Amazon and you
Okay.
go and get the Art of Joyful Achieving, take a screenshot, click, 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 Ashram Mitchell, Esquire, okay? Or, so it's only $9.95 for the paperback edition. And with the paperback edition, it comes an online workbook, and I do a video intro to tapping, so you can really learn how to tap very easily. The other way you can get the book is you can go to my website, which is activateyourgreatness.com.
Okay.
All one word, activateyourgreatness.com. And if you go there, then there's something that has a book, and you can just click on that, and that'll take you right to where you can buy the book.
All right. Which would you prefer? Would you prefer them to support you on Amazon, or would you prefer them to support you directly from your site?
Well, if you go to my site, it'll take you to Amazon. I mean, so it's better if you go to my site, because then you can see sort of more of some of the things that I offer, like my coaching services. Like there are definitely some freebies there that are pretty nice. So that's what I would say. Get on. If you're so inclined, I do a weekly email that has very, very inspirational stuff in it.
Okay. And what we'll do is go ahead and share that link in the on the comments for the live video. But what I also want to do is, at this point, and you got a few comments. A few of the ladies said, "Hey, 65 looks good on you." So, so just wanted to share that with you. But what I'm gonna do is, at the end of every Book Talk Live, I want to give away 3 books. So for 3 of the viewers who actually comment book, 2 things. One, I'll go ahead and buy 3 of your books from you. So we'll have those shipped directly from them. Is it possible to have those autographed by you?
Sure.
Okay. So we have 3 viewers. The first 3 people that comment book, it doesn't matter if you've won this week or last week or anything. If you comment book, we'll go ahead and get you an autographed copy of the book from Joe Mitchell, Esquire.
Awesome. I love it.
All right. So I'm waiting on those comments to come in. Usually it's a delay. And I know with us going from Zoom to actual Facebook, there's about a 10-second delay. So it may be coming in. Are there any last words that you want to share with them? Oh, before we do that, while we're waiting on the three book winners, the next thing I wanted to ask about is, we had a conversation about something that you're doing for the young people in Philadelphia as a community service. Can you talk about that just briefly? Because I know that is huge right now, and maybe it's something that we can get other people to do across the nation.
Well, I really believe that not only our white allies need to do stuff, but our Black people need to do stuff for our Black people, especially people like myself who have been educated and who are out there doing stuff. We need to do stuff for our people. Okay. And I want everybody, I mean, everybody who's listening to this show, ask yourself, what can I do to move forward in for racial equality? Because that's a very, very important thing. And for me, as a past criminal attorney, one of the things that I've seen is perhaps the worst thing, and I've been working in a major city, Philadelphia, is Black men having criminal records.
Mm.
So what I am working very hard to do is to create hundreds and hundreds of pardons where people can get their records erased so that they can go and get jobs without the hassle of having a conviction on their record and the employer saying, I'm not hiring you, you got a robbery conviction.
Mm.
I'm not hiring you, you've been a drug dealer. I really believe that people do change. People do. It's not that you hire a robber, you hire somebody who has shifted themselves and learned how to be an upstanding citizen. And there are a lot of those people, especially in inner cities, that have criminal records and are great people. And that's what I'm up to, is supporting them in living a great life and getting jobs and just having, just being empowered.
Okay. And that's not just powerful, that's life changing. Because I know so many people that grew up where I grew up, and we had this conversation before, that made those mistakes well before they were 17, 18 years old. And so by the time they were adults, they already had their entire lives having to start completely over. Um, and so I'll go ahead. I just want to say salute on that. Congratulations and thank you for offering that service. Here's something that maybe we can talk after the live, but it looks like 6 people actually want your book. So maybe we can talk offline about how we can get those 6 instead of just 3. Would that be something you'd be up to?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. And once again, let them know how they can find you and how they can get your book, because I want to make sure that we're supporting the community, and I don't want to say support. We are paying it forward. We are putting our funds behind those who are doing the things that are helping to elevate our communities, and not just helping to elevate our communities, but helping to elevate the world to a different place and helping people reach their peak potential, because that's exactly what you are.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Here's the book, The Art of Joyful Achieving. Take a screenshot. And then also you can get that on Amazon, or you can go to my website, activateyourgreatness.com. And there's a lot of free stuff there as well as the book.
Absolutely. And so thank you so much.
My pleasure. Totally my pleasure.
Yes, sir. I got one last one last giveaway that I got to do, and that's the $25 Cash App giveaway. So for the first person who comments cash, you'll have $25 Cash App giveaway in your inbox, in your bank account, in the next 15 to 30 minutes. I'm just waiting on one person to comment cash. So and if you've won this before, then it might not be you. But for everybody who is watching, and also they want to know how they can follow you, how they can follow you on social media.
Yeah, Facebook is probably the best place. I am Coach Joe Mitchell on Facebook, and
Okay.
I also I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm just starting an Instagram thing. I'm an old head, so I'm just starting Instagram.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. At least you are on there, because I know a lot of people, we call it and it looks like Brandy Bennett actually shared your link in the live. So thank you so much for doing that. And it looks like we do have a winner. So the first person who commented cash was Terry Brown Neal. So I'm going to go ahead and reach out to her. And let me, yes, it is a.
Yeah, and the other thing that I wanted to say too is if you go to my site, you can apply for a free strategy session. I give free strategy sessions.
Okay.
And so I get to know you and I can give you I have some really powerful advice. I have you fill out a little form and I have some really powerful methods. And we might even do some tapping, but probably not tapping. But learn tapping, guys, learn tapping. Tapping is where you can make the fastest improvements in your life. And it's really powerful.
So
And
while you said to learn tapping, what's the best place that they can learn tapping? Isn't that one of the strategies that you talk about in your book?
definitely in my book, and I really apply it to how to succeed. So that's a really, really great thing. There are so many. If you just go on to YouTube and just type in tapping, or go on to Google and type in tapping, there's so many resources all over the place.
Hey, well, Coach Joe is being very modest. I'm actually gonna say go to his website and set up that strategy session. And let me make sure I got it right. ActivateYourGreatness.com. Set up that strategy session and make sure you go and spend that $9.99 and get that book, because I promise you, you're gonna go, if you go to Starbucks and buy you 2 cups of coffee, you just spent $10. You can spend $9.99 and learn the things that will help you activate and tap into your greatness. So thank you all for tuning in to Book Talk Live. Today's guest was Joe Mitchell, Esquire, and he is Coach Joe. Follow him on Facebook, follow him on Instagram, try to connect with him on LinkedIn. And I say try because I'm pretty sure if he's on LinkedIn, he is being bombarded with requests right now. So once again, this is Book Talk Live. Thank you guys for tuning in. Love you guys, and we'll see you next week.
Great. Thank you so much for having me on, Sugar Ray. Appreciate it. Really appreciate it.
Yes, sir.